Welcome to Next Tech News. I'm Paul Benson. Today we're going to be talking about the future of gaming. With me today, Eric Rodriguez and Edward Zoll are here. Gentlemen, today is this week is the Microsoft E3 show, so it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo. And there's a lot of news coming out, a lot of new articles showing up. Earlier in this week, we talked about Staramba, as well as One Game, which are decentralized virtual world platforms. And this technology is centralizing around artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and cloud computing. So we're hearing a new term being talked about in this show called cloud gaming. What exactly is cloud gaming?
So cloud gaming is playing video games or other types of entertainment through a cloud-based system. Now, what I mean by cloud is when you go to use Google Drive or these other online storage devices, they're on a cloud. The computers are talking to each other and they store the data in the in-between traffic. They're now making it so you can play games using that same technology we use to store files. And this means that you don't need large hardware, large amounts of consoles or computers in your home. You can have something as simple as a $200 laptop, and you can access any game that's available.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key parts of this whole thing is that you will no longer need that middleman hardware. You don't need the Xbox, you don't need the PlayStation, you won't need the Nintendo system, you still have one of those. All that's going to be removed. If you have a TV, a fast internet connection, and then some type of controller, you're good to go now moving forward. Well, not yet, but the future of gaming.
So console games like these systems like Xbox or PlayStation, the next generation of kids playing games, they're probably going to consider those like the record player, like we would consider the record player.
Yes.
Those are going to be old school technology. So Ubisoft CEO, so this is a gaming company, interesting article out of ARS Technica, cloud gaming will replace consoles after the next generation. So he's saying there's one more generation of consoles coming up. And we actually have a diagram of this, and I want to explain this diagram. So essentially you have the TV or a mobile device that's connected to the internet. We talk a lot about 5G, so this is where 5G comes in. Low latency and extremely fast speed is what you need. So the control command is going to another computer somewhere out in the cloud, somewhere in a server farm. So anytime that you're making a control or a gesture, that's being sent to the cloud, and then low latency video is then being broadcasted in light speed back to your screen. So all the heavy lifting is done somewhere else. They're demonstrating this at this show that it's possible. So this means that anybody can just, like you said, get a $200 laptop and see incredibly high fidelity graphics and be able to potentially play online with hundreds of other gamers.
And another part of this article, the CEO goes on and talks about how they are planning on making their games compatible with all devices. So they're looking at not only gaming consoles as of today as the Xbox or PlayStation, but the next generation of those consoles, but then they're looking for, future generations as in just using your phone, just using a smart TV, and whatever else is going to be rolling out over the next 10 to 15 years. So the gaming industry, they're understanding the current trend of technology that it's all going to the cloud. You got 5G rolling out soon, so why not provide that fast, using the high graphics processing power of phones or tablets and make these fun games. I know. For example, like my boys will watch a certain game on YouTube, and they're like, "Daddy, I want to download that game." I'm like, "It's not available for the Apple TV. We don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation." But here in the next 5 years, it's a possibility that the games that they're wanting to play are going to be available on my Apple TV or on the iPhone or on the iPad, and I won't have to worry about going out and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a console and controllers.
I see this as the honey. What I mean by this is that if you look at this, why would people put up with bees? They sting you, they're tough to carry, but they provide honey. All right. Same regard, 5G. It's very complicated. You got to put huge antennas on buildings. You've got to build and spend large amounts of money as a nation to put the infrastructure in. Gaming is the honey to 5G. People are going to allow these antennas to be put on houses, are going to pay for special infrastructure in your home, and even approve legislature which would allow for broadband connectivity and interconnectivity with the government, because it will help them get their 5G streaming games on their consoles.
Yeah, I mean, people that are investing in consoles or hardware, upgrading PCs, always getting the latest thing. It's a very expensive hobby. I mean, people pour thousands of dollars into building custom PCs with, liquid-cooled systems, and it's amazing. But where this is all going is that, like we're saying, you just either plug a VR headset or a controller into something, or a mouse and keyboard with a TV, and then you're able to see this high-resolution graphics. So EA's new cloud gaming service, which is Electronic Arts, here at the Electronic Entertainment Expo, they're demoing it. This is out of CNET. They're talking about, again, a TV connected to a $20 controller that has a high-speed internet connection, and they're able to play one of these cutting-edge games that looks so realistic you could hardly tell it from reality.
Yeah, and EA, their goal and their promises from the company is saying, we want to be able to allow the user to be able to play games anywhere you can watch Netflix. So just think about right now, wherever you watch Netflix, think about a game that used to be tied to a console now being able to be played on the go, in your car, on the airplane, wherever, because of this new cloud-based gaming system.
And that's exactly what Microsoft is saying they're going to do. I mean, this is Microsoft's Expo, and they're saying, quote, they want console-quality gaming on any device, PC, Xbox, and phone. So you got all these gaming companies developing game streaming networks. So streaming has taken on an entirely new definition. So, even extending to other companies, we talked about Ubisoft. I want to go over this quote. So this is from Yves Guillemot, and he's saying, I think we will see another generation, or there's a good chance that step by step we will see less and less hardware. With time, I think streaming will become more accessible to many players and make it not necessarily to have big hardware at home. There will be one more console generation, and then after that, we will be streaming, all of us.
And why this is a big deal, and you're thinking about, why are we talking about gaming? Who cares? Well, this is a part that same CEO goes on in this article and says that Ubisoft will be pivoting to a model which is less dependent on releasing new games, but focus instead on live multiplayer games that encourage quote-unquote long-term engagement and quote-unquote reoccurring spending.
Wow.
So their goal is to kind of go along like with that one game concept where you're basically living in this game and it never ends. It's constantly evolving.
I look at some of the market data on this. There are over 2.2 billion gamers in the world. Now, this goes in people who have a console, have something they play these video games through. Well, it was a shock to me was looking at where those gamers are centralized. They're centralized in China and America. Asia and America are pretty much the only people who can afford some of the gaming consoles. Xbox costs up to $400. So you mentioned the PCs. Some PCs can come for up to $15,000 if you want a really good one, right? But if you make it as low as maybe $20, that's what that controller costs, or a $200 VR headset, you've now opened up the market to Africa, Latin America, places that, because of 5G infrastructure, are going from not having a TV straight into having access to the next generation of digital entertainment. And we know digital entertainment is going to drive culture. It's going to drive what people focus their minds on.